This is Parashat Tazria. That's the shiur on Parashat Tazria. Parashat Tazria basically talks about Metzorah. What does Metzorah mean? A lot of people say leprosy. It's a type of disease. But the Rishonim, they tell us this wasn't a natural disease. Why? The first proof is that it comes to begodim, to garments and the house. Disease doesn't belong to garment and doesn't belong to houses. The other thing is, Torah says, what about if it's a type of disease? When this disease is local, in one place a disease. Now, what about if the disease goes all over of the body, all over you see the stain of Metzorah? Then what? Then, medically, we have to say, it's very crucial. All over it's worse. But Torah says, Kulo ha'pachlavan tahor. In other words, if it takes all of the body, if they say from the foot till the head, all over is Metzorah, Torah says it's tahor, It's not, right? If the Kohen sees that all over is Metzorah, is tahor. Therefore, Mefarshim prove from here that you see it wasn't natural phenomena, it's not a disease. Therefore, that creates a very good question. Where do we find in Torah? Torah says, if you do an Avera, you get punishment right away. Torah says for all of the Avera, there are punishment of the Bedin or Shamayim would be here or after 120 years. But we don't have any Haftach or promise in Torah that if somebody does the worst Avera, it's Mebarech Shem Hashem. Mebarech. He says not good to the name of Hashem, or he does Avodah Zarah, or he does adultery, or he kills somebody. There is no place in Torah that Torah tells us that right away something would happen to him. But here, for Lashon Hara, that Metzorah comes, Metzorah is Motzi Ra. Somebody takes out Ra from his mouth. For Lashon Hara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put a parasha of Metzorah, and the Metzorah comes right away to him. And Mefarshim say, why? Why is it like that Metzorah is such a thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the punishment that right away person should be plagued with this, that he should know that he taught Lashon Hara. No, what's Lashon Hara mean? Gossip. What does gossip mean? Gossip means if a person says something against somebody else, it could be even something good, as long as that thing damages him or makes him feel bad or annoys him. That's Lashon Hara. We are not allowed to say something that about somebody else. That it's very interesting. Torah says that lakelev. Now the Torah says if meat becomes nevela and it's not good, lakelev tashichoto. You put it to kelev because we want to give reward to kelev, to dog, because in Mitzrayim, when we went out of Mitzrayim, they didn't bark. And right after that, Torah says, Lo tisar shem hashav. Torah says, you should not be mekabel Lashon Hara. You should not be involved in Lashon Hara. Now, Mefarshim said, what's the connection between the nevela you should throw to the dog, and Torah says, Lo tisar shem hashav, Lashon Hara? The Gemara says, the connection is like this. Whoever says Lashon Hara is befitting for him that the dog should come and bite him. Unbelievable. Bite. It's befitting that the dog should come and bite him. Now, the Persian say, what's pshat? What does it mean? See, dog, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created. All of the animals, they have characteristics that Hashem created with. Dog is very good to be guardian. That's why we use the dog as a guard. The policeman uses it. Or at home, we use it. Somebody wants to go over the fence, the dog bites him, doesn't let him go over the fence. Because he says, then you're an invader. You're an invader. Therefore, we understand that somebody goes to somebody's house and he wants to take something, the dog bites him. The dog doesn't let him do that. Now, when a person says Lashon Hara, it's much worse. You are going to the private domain of a person and you are stealing, you are a robber, you are robbing. You are stealing that information and publicizing that. That's a private information by him. You are an invader. You are invading that person. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I have dogs, natural dogs, and I have a crew of dogs that they're going to come and take care of the person. You're going to go and in private domain of a person and take out information and publicize it, and he doesn't like it, it would be harmful, it would be annoying to him, and therefore there are dogs. And Farshim say another point. When somebody is going out, there's a nature of the dog to bark. By Yetziat Mitzrayim, they didn't bark because they wanted to sanctify the Shem of Hashem, that these people are not robbers. These people are going out with the allowance. They are not coming to rob and go out of the country, Kahal Israel. The dog, with maintaining himself, going against his nature, he showed that Kahal Israel are not robbers. They are not going out like robbers to sanctify Shem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, sanctify Shem Hashem. They were that dog, that temptation, had desire to bark, and by nature he was supposed to bark, but not to be Chilul Hashem, disgrace of name of Hashem, to show that the robbers, he kept quiet. Now we are demanded also to the same. There's a lot of temptation. It's juicy information. You want to let it out. It's just joyful. It's just pleasure. Person feels such a geschmack. You know, that's a juicy information I want to share with my friend, my wife. It's very juicy. Now we have to remind ourselves, the dog went against his nature and he was rewarded. Now also we. And why dog went against his nature and was rewarded? To say that they are not robbers, they are not invading. When you do that, you are worse than that. You are invading. You are going through the private domain of somebody and pulling out information. And that information kills, destroys. The Navi says, Chetz shachud leshonam. The tongue is an arrow that shechts and kills. Now we have two types of killing, murderer. One murderer kills, and you see the blood. You understand you are a murderer. You go and do teshuvah. You do something about it. But there is another murder that is a cold blood. It's not the real blood. You kill, you destroy. You don't understand. Therefore, you don't see the consequence of it. Therefore, since Lashon Hara is so destructive, and it's very easy. You get a phone, could do the Avera. Any other Avera takes courage, takes money, takes time. Here you pick up the phone and talk half an hour, you could be over thousands of Averot. Half an hour. Therefore, the punishment of Torah is not taking revenge. The punishment of Torah is to improve us. Torah is saying that you need such a punishment to safeguard. Unfortunately, nowadays, we don't have Metzorah. That's two parashot of Torah. One parashot is called Metzorah. Usually the name of the parashot has to be positive. It's not negative. Metzorah was positive. Because that showed the rank of Kahal Israel. That shows the elevation of Am Israel. We have such a shaykhut with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, such a relationship with Hashem, that something destructive that comes in the camp of Kahal Israel would be supervised to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and show it to him that you are doing something invading in the camp of Kahal Israel. It's a sechut, it was a merit for Kahal Israel. Unfortunately, nowadays we don't have it. We don't have it. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu has dogs around. Somebody who says Lashon Hara, he doesn't go free. He doesn't go free. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has dogs, that these dogs are guardian. They watch and they keep. And that is the person has to understand. Whenever that you want to open your mouth, you have to know what's happening with you. Once somebody came to Chafetz Chaim and he says that I say Lashon Hara, I want to do teshuvah. How should I do teshuvah? He said to him, do you have a pillow at home? He says, yes. He says, a windy day, take your pillow and cut it through. Let the wind take all of the feathers out. He says, really, I should do that? Yes, do it. He was waiting for a windy day, and then he came and he tore the pillow and let all of the feathers out. Then he came back to Levychaim and told him that, Levychaim, I did it. So, where is my teshuvah? He says, now your teshuvah is, go and gather all of the feathers that went out. He said, what? How could I gather them together? The wind took them all over. He says, this is the power of the word that you used. That power went all over. Teshuvah of that, you have to gather them together. How could you do it? How could you do it? You can't gather them together. Of course, there's a teshuvah for everything. But it's not so easy. You have to kill the mess. All of the mess has to be cleaned. The word that was said, and Chetz Shachud, he killed somebody. Somebody lost his job. Somebody lost his shidduch. Somebody lost his shidduch. He's not married for many years. How are we going to answer? How are we going to respond that? That's Chafetz Chaim. The feathers are out. How could you get it back? Somebody lost his job. He couldn't handle. And he lost Shalom Bayit, lost his children. How do you put it back? It's a feather that went out all over. It's not easy to put it back. Now I tell you, I learned a lot about Lashon Hara. But something that made very strong impact on me on Lashon Hara, the story that I heard. There was a grandmother, many children, many grandchildren. Unfortunately, he got cancer in her throat. And it was getting worse and worse. Now the doctors told her, we could do operation on you. But after the operation, you cannot talk anymore. So she delayed the operation as long as she could, obviously. She wants to be able to talk. She wants to communicate with her children, with grandchildren. And finally came a day that doctors told her that you cannot wait anymore. You are putting your life in sakana, in danger. It's okay, let's do the operation. Now you could imagine the day of operation, all of the children, all of the grandchildren came to her, and she spoke to all of them. The last word, the last expression, the last word of emotions that she has, she told the children, the grandchildren, her husband, and to everybody. Now they are ready for the operation to go. Everybody leaves the room, and they are almost to the operation. She calls the rabbi and says, Rabbi, you stay here. I want to talk to you. The rabbi was very emotional at this emotional time. What does she want from me? How could I help her after having such a scene? How could I help her? Finally, Rabbanim also, they have their moments. Sometimes they have very tough times. And they have to stay there. And she told him, I want to ask you something. It's okay, good, ask. Says that, I want to know, after this operation, I cannot talk. What should be my last thought that I could use my power of speech? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. In Torah we have halacha that the child, how should he start talking? What should we teach him? We teach him Torah, Siva, Lanu, Moshe, Parashat, Yaakov, and then Shema. What's the last word? What's the last word that the person should say? Then this rabbi went in his mind, what should we do? What should we tell him? Again, he says maybe the same way that we start this speech, we should end it up. Torah, Siva, Lanu, Moshe, Parashat, Yaakov, Shema Israel, Hashem, Hashem. It's a true story. I learned a lot of stories about Lashon Hara. I learned a lot of chazal, a lot of things. But this story is so powerful, so powerful. Person could get to a point that they take away the power of speech from him. He doesn't have the power to talk. Talk is so cheap. We just open our mouth and we talk. We feel that's very easy to talk. But we have to understand that it's not so easy. It's a merit, it's a zechut. It's a merit, it's a zechut. Once somebody got sick, he couldn't use his mouth properly. Even davening, he couldn't pray. Then he realized, every day that I come and say Shema, I say Shemoneh, I could daven, I could pray, I could use my mouth. It's a privilege. It's a zechut, it's a merit. Every word that the person says is a zechut, it's a merit. Therefore, a person has to be careful how to use it. Unbelievable. This grandmother wanted to know what's the last word. If I'm ending my power of speech, what should be the last wording that I say? And this is the thing. The person has to understand. That's why we have the Parashat Metzora. Because this power, that power of neshama, in other words, the mouth is a pen of neshama. The way that you talk, you build up your neshama. You talk the Torah, Kedusha, the neshama becomes Kaddish. Person uses a bad lashon, bad thing, something not right. There was a Bet HaMidrash that one person in Bet HaMidrash said the wrong word. The Yeshua says, kick him out of the Bet HaMidrash. If the pen of his neshama talk like that, it shows there is some type of corruption in his neshama. And they kicked him out of the Bet HaMidrash. They went another Bet HaMidrash, and they finally then become anybody, become a corrupted person. Unbelievable. So we have to be very careful. We're living in a society that we use our wording, we say every word. We feel comfortable to use every type of word. And this type of things, it's a pen of neshama. We should use our word properly. And that's the chizuk that we should get from this parashat, that Metzora, Hakadosh Baruch Hu put a special privilege, that they should get Metzora to be careful to use their mouth properly.